say start recording from here, and then I'll also say this is going to be our 7th class. Is it our 7 or 7th or 6th class? 7, right? Okay, good. So record meeting, and I'll write Dr. Sam, and I'm going to write class 7, and we are on our way. The class is being recorded as usual. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Tell me, so how is it going over there? And I'm talking about the TMA. Are you done? Are you kind of halfway through? Tell me about it. Okay, Ahmed Nagib is done. Fairuz is halfway through, which is also good. Okay, Dua Hafiz is done. That's good. Okay, nice, very good. So so in terms of stages, when it comes to writing, we have 3 stages. We spoke about them before. And just wait, Feroz. Let me finish my line of thought, and then I'll answer all the questions that you may have. Okay, so when it comes to writing, if you're writing an assignment, and this assignment is, you'll have to write a lot. There are paragraphs that you have to write, perhaps essays that you have to write. In general, you will need to divide the work into 3 basic stages. You have the pre-writing stage, you have the during or while writing stage, and the post-writing stage. So these are stages that you have to go. I mean, sometimes you do them automatically, intuitively, without knowing that you're doing them. Okay, we don't have to give them labels. Sometimes this is intimidating for some. This is exactly what you're going through now. For those who have finished, should have gone through the different stages that I'm talking about. What do I mean by pre-writing stage? Pre-writing from the word pre, and pre means before or prior. This is a prefix, and it means prior or before. So before writing. So what is it that people do before they write? Okay, they go, they check the assignment, they get to know what the assignment is about, and based on the exploring that they do in terms of checking the different aspects of the assignment, they determine the needs. They identify the requirements and determine the needs. Okay, and then off they go. So what is it that they do? They start first of all relying on their own resources, their mental resources, if you like what, like brainstorming for ideas that they may know already from their experience. But obviously this is not going to be enough. You cannot depend on your own resources and full stop. Okay, sometimes there are points that you need to prove, that you in order to prove these points, you will need to have support from perhaps outside material, from a book that you have read or a website that you have checked on the internet. Okay, so you start with brainstorming, and brainstorming would mean that you start with yourself. You try to think of whatever comes to your mind at this stage. I mean, whatever the word or the keywords in the TMA trigger at the back of your mind. You put them down and then you think about them. Perhaps you need to kind of trim them and narrow them down so that you end up having 2 or 3 ideas. You don't I mean, the idea of overwriting is not correct. Overwriting means that people have a tendency to write and write and write, and they are under the false impression that the more they write, the better the grade. And that this is not correct. You need to be focused. You need to focus on the bottom line. The bottom line here would mean the requirements of the TMA. Alaykum assalam. Okay, so now that you have brainstorming means that you think deeply about the keywords in the TMA, right? After that, you have determined the needs. Now you know what the requirements are. You go and check other resources, right? Remember, in one I remember in one of the TMA questions, you're given like 6 or 7 international festivals, and obviously most of them are unfamiliar to you. So how can you depend on yourself? So obviously you're going to depend on yourself. You're going to think if you perhaps got to know about any of them by chance, or if you're a well-read individual. Okay, and if you don't have a clue what every and each festival is about, what are you going to do? You're going to check other sources, right, other than yourself. Okay, so when you do that, let me finish first, please. When you do that, you go and check, and you don't copy and paste, of course. You read and read and read so that you can have ideas. Okay, so when you come back to your TMA, you have enough information, you have enough knowledge about the topic, and then you start writing. Okay, don't copy and paste, of course. Copying and pasting is a no-no. You get a 0 right away, right? So you write what we call your first draft. Now that you have information and knowledge about the topic, you start writing your first draft. Okay, draft is what we call musawwada in Arabic. So it's not your final product. It's not your final paper. Okay, you're writing, you're experimenting, you're adding stuff, and then perhaps dropping other things. So this is not final. So you write, and then after you have finished, you go to the third stage. The third stage is the post writing. Post in Latin means after. So this is the after writing stage. So what is it that people do when they have finished writing? They edit their work. What do I mean by editing? Editing means that you read your TMA yourself. You read the paragraphs that you wrote, or the extended paragraphs that you were asked to write, right? And then check whether there are errors, mistakes, because it happens that lots of errors may escape your notice, which is natural and healthy and everything. Okay, so we're not expecting perfect TMAs. We're not expecting that. We don't have high hopes and great expectations. You know why? Because you are in your formative years. You're still learning to write. But we wouldn't be too harsh or too tough on you, and we ask for the impossible. We know that you're learning. We know that you're going to make errors and mistakes. That's natural, and that's okay. Okay, if I feel free to make mistakes. You're not going to learn until and unless you make mistakes. Okay, it's fine if you make mistakes, but don't insist on the mistakes. When we tell you that this is a mistake, you shouldn't repeat it, right? Am I clear enough? So the first step would be to take it easy, to relax. Okay? Relax, take it easy. We're expecting errors and mistakes, that's fine. Okay, we don't have high hopes because this is only EL111. You still have EL112, and then you will go to your major and you're going to study more. I would like you to check your English when you finish the 3 or the 4 years that you're going to be spending here at the university. So obviously your English now is going to be totally different when you graduate, inshallah, right? So I wouldn't ask you to write essays and to write assignments the way you will write them in 3 or 4 years from now. So we understand, we appreciate. You don't have to worry, just do what you're supposed to do. Okay? Like I said, I was having a class the other day, and they also have TM, but this is a major course. And I told them what was it? I said, do your best and hope for the best. Right? Please do your best and hope for the best. And ask questions. This is the time where you have to ask intelligent and smart questions. You don't ask me about the word count because I told you about the word count, and I told you that if it's 100 I can allow you up to 130, and again people are still asking. Don't waste your time and mind on these on these issues. Talk to me about the how can I achieve coherence and unity. How can I make my essay or paragraph make sense? How can I use transition words and phrases? Right? How can I write a good introduction? What goes into a good introduction? How can I develop my ideas in the body paragraph or paragraphs if I'm writing an essay? How can I finish the TMA or the paragraph? Am I clear enough? Okay, so is this reassuring enough? You feel better now? You feel relaxed? You shouldn't worry, right? It's just another exercise in writing that is primarily meant for you to develop. We're trying to make you develop your writing skills because make no mistake about it, it's all about writing. We don't have oral exams. It's all writing. So you can have beautiful ideas, but you cannot express them in writing. You lose marks, right? Okay, Magid is saying, Doctor, we have essay in final exam. Inshallah. Yes, you will have essays, inshallah. Okay. So Amira is saying I'm not sure. استخدم الجمل الافتتاحية والختامية وكذا. أنا لازم. Okay. Okay. Let me tell you something. يعني very it's common sense. Let me just answer her and then go to what other people have. Okay. So Amira is asking us, I mean, when you start, when you're giving a presentation, writing is like giving a exactly like giving a presentation. Writing is exactly like meeting people. When you walk into a room and you see people, and you see people for the first time. Okay, what is it that you do? You don't greet them. You don't introduce yourself. You don't introduce the purpose why you are here in the room. You don't tell them that I came here today because of this and that. Don't you start with something interesting, right? So this is what the first part is about. You'll have to have an introduction, but if it's a paragraph, the introduction should be very small. You don't want to have the whole paragraph for the introduction, right? And then you develop the idea within the body paragraph, within the paragraph again, and then you, at the end, you want to make sure that people did not forget what you're talking about. You sum the idea up. Okay, so this is done on the level of paragraphs, this is done on the level of essays, and this is also done on the level of books. Okay, you start in a nice way, you talk in the middle, and then you end in a nice way too. Okay, time. Let's go now. Let's go to the book, because I have to finish unit or theme 2 today, so that we can also finish theme 3 next week. Okay. I sent you a book, a copy of a book. What I noticed over the past 3 weeks was that your vocab stock is not that big. You have issues with vocabulary. I thought about it, and then I checked my library, my electronic library, and I found a book that I shared with you. This is a very interesting book, and we're going to try to make sure that a part or a chapter or a unit or perhaps a lesson is taught in class every time, and then I leave you the rest. We do something, and then I ask you to do the rest as an assignment. Okay. I think you all have seen the book. I trust that you have gone through it. It's a very interesting book, by the way. I myself benefit a great deal from it. It has lots of very interesting colorful exercises. Okay, I think everybody has the book now, because we shared it on the group. Okay, so if you want to change in English, do what I'm asking you to do, and I am ready to help. Okay, and I don't intend, it's not part of my plan to leave you after we finish. After we finish the summer semester, you're going to continue with me, not register with me. I'm not talking about that. I'm going to give you classes after we finish. We can always meet. Okay, we can, and if it's not Adobe, it can be Google Meet, it can be any other medium, and we can continue the effort that we have started. I think it would be a good idea, and you will benefit a great deal, inshallah. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing that, because I can see it, I can feel that you guys are very excited about what we're doing. You're very serious, you want to change in English, and these are good qualifications for somebody like me to sustain the effort beyond the summer semester. Okay, so let's go, because we have lots of things to cover, obviously. I think I also wanted to start with something also from the book. I'm hopeful that I have the book opened. Yeah, where is the book? Yes. It's a kind of reminder of what we have been doing. I think it's 190 something. How come it's only 15 pages? No, this is not the one. Okay. this is not what I meant. The book that I sent you was way bigger than that, right? It was like 200 pages or so. Ah, yeah, this is the one. This is the index. Okay. Okay. Remember when we spoke about numbers? Can you see that? This is 190. Spoke about numbers, and we said that we have different types of numbers. As you can see, we have cardinal numbers. When I say page 56, this is a cardinal number. When I say 1, 2, when I ask you about your number here, you're going to say we are 18. So 18 is a cardinal number. Just to remember that. And we also spoke about ordinal numbers, and we said that ordinal numbers comes from the word order. So with ordinal numbers, we're marking or we're referring to arrangements and orders and priorities. Okay. Fairuz may say that I am the first one to come to class today. The first means that there is second and third and fourth. This is an arrangement or an order. Okay, so these are called ordinal numbers. Remember, we use them with dates. For example, when I say, for example, I was born on October 26th or 29th 1971, for example. Do I make sense? Can you still hear me? So first, second, third, fourth, these are called ordinal numbers, right? Okay. So today is okay. Spoke also about the days of the week. You're familiar with them. If the week starts on Monday, so it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And what is your favorite day? I'm asking you. What is your favorite day of the week? Fairuz is saying Thursday. Nice. Ahmad, Thursday to Rawia, Monday. Nice. Very good. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So if I ask you about what is it that you do on your favorite day, so I'm not going to ask you to go into details. I'm asking about the tense that you're going to use. Are you going to use past or present continuous? Present continuous means that you're going to say I am waking up at 7. Is that correct? No, right? You're going to use present simple. Present simple means what? You're going to say I wake up at 7. We're talking about habits. So every Friday or every Thursday you do the same thing. I go with my friends. So it's I go with my friends. It's not I went with my friends. It's not I am going with my friends. Is that clear? I hang out with my friends, right? I go to my grandparents. I don't say I went, because obviously this is past. Is that clear? I visit my family. Yes. Okay, Nashwa. Okay, let's talk about. We also have months of the year, right? And these are the months. And what is your favorite month, by the way? What is your favorite, everyone? What is your favorite month? Nashwa is saying Ramadan, which is not here. Okay. This is the Christian calendar, right? We have the Hijri calendar. You know what a calendar is, right? And we have the what they call the Gregorian calendar. Okay, so Salim is saying October. Okay. Rawia is saying January. Nashwa is saying April. Yes. Okay. Nice. And then we have the seasons. You know the seasons, right? How many seasons do we have? So what season are we in? What season? Which season are we in? Summer. Yes, excellent. It's summer, like Fairuz and Ahmed are saying. Yes, excellent. Okay. Let's talk about the prepositions that go with the days and the months and all these kinds of. Let's start with days of the week. So what preposition? Remember, in, at, on. So what preposition are you going to take with days of the week? On. Excellent. On. I don't go to university on Friday. On. Okay. Nice. Okay. So with months of the year. So what preposition are you using with months of the year? In. Excellent. In. I was born in October. I was born in October, for example. Okay. Seasons. What preposition are you using with season? In. No, not on. In. In, ya jama'a. In. With seasons, you say in. Okay, it doesn't rain in summer. Can I say that? It doesn't rain in summer. Does it rain in summer? Perhaps it rains in Riyadh. Does it rain in summer in Riyadh? No, it doesn't, right? Okay. It only rains in tropical places. You know, tropical, like perhaps the Philippines and these areas. I mean, it rains as we speak, which is a little bit strange. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is what I wanted to highlight. I'll go back to the book. Remember, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. I misjudged a button, obviously, and it took us all the way to the end of the book. Okay, remember, this is all theme 2, and theme 2, as you have seen and perhaps studied, is very interesting because it's about methods and forms of transport, and some of them happen to be your favorite, right? Okay. Okay. Here we are. Okay. Remember these means of transport. Remember these technological inventions when it comes to transport. Spoke about them. Spoke about which of them came first and then what came after. Remember. Remember, I said that the first model of anything is called a prototype, right? So these were the prototypes of transport inventions. This is the prototype of I think the bicycle. This is the prototype of the car, right? And so on and so forth. Um, also, not last time, the time before, spoke about one of the, we said whenever people talk, it's one of four kinds of sentences. One of these sentences happens to be the command or the imperative sentence, where you give instructions and orders, right? When I say look at the board, open your book, write this, don't write that, okay? And practically we use them in our daily life. If you're perhaps using a printer and you're trying to print something, so you press a button, right? You insert paper, you pull something out, right? You set the time for a mobile or for a watch or a clock, okay? What do we say when a machine or a device does not work? What is the expression that we use with that? What do we say? Yeah, Fairuz is saying, yeah, we say it's broken, and broken does not mean that it is smashed to pieces. No, broken means it is, there is another expression. So remember? So it's either broken or no, out of order. Okay? So I called you yesterday, but you didn't pick up. I said my mobile was broken or is broken. My mobile is out of order. I couldn't watch the movie yesterday because my television is out of order. My television is broken. No, not smashed. Yeah, smashed is different. I'm saying broken means it doesn't work. Okay? My laptop is broken. Broken means it's out of order. It doesn't work. Okay? طيب. We spoke about scientific research and the language that people use when they do research, right? When you're talking about a piece of research and you say according to, it says, remember these things? Yeah, hello. Okay. Last time we did a very interesting piece of reading. There were gaps and that we filled, and it was about the solar system, and by now you know what the solar system is, right? So obviously the solar system is, or we are part of the solar system, right? Solar comes from the word what? Solar has to do with what? Is related to what? Solar is from the word, still remember? Sun, S-U-N. So the sun, okay, so solar from the word sun. So when I say solar system, I mean the system that has the sun in the center or at the center, right? So remember that. So what orbits the sun? Orbit means goes around. Yeah, excellent, Fairuz. The planets. And how many planets do we have? Yes. Okay. Okay. I think 12 is too much or too many, Al-Mu'taz. Okay, so what is the name of our planet? The planet that we inhabit. What is the name of our planet? Earth. Excellent. Earth. Okay, good. Okay. Do we have creatures on the moon? Do we have people on the moon? Let me ask you this. No. On Mars, do we have people on Mars or perhaps other creatures? Okay. So what do we call the creature? This is only in movies, obviously. What do we call the creatures that come to Earth and perhaps scare us off sometimes? What do we call them? Creatures? Aliens, like Al-Mu'taz is aliens, right? Okay. Okay, nice, very good. Okay, remember this reading? A brief history of space travel. Remember this? We invested very heavily on this or in this reading because we were trying to kind of teach you how to approach a piece of reading, right? Okay, so it's a brief history of space travel. Give me a synonym for the word brief. Give me a synonym for the word brief. Synonym means a word that has the same meaning. Excellent. Fairuz is saying small. Okay, good. So give me an antonym for the word small or brief. No. That's, yeah, okay. So brief means short, right? And not big enough, right? Okay, good. So the opposite would be long. Yeah, very good, like Magid is saying. Okay. So what did we say? Remember, when we read this reading, we said that it is divided into how many sections? How many sections did we have? Okay, if you're saying no, not five. Now five is too long. No, you had three sections if you still remember. Yes, spoke about gunpowder, the invention of gunpowder. Okay, within the same section we spoke about who invented gunpowder and how they used it. And then at one point we went to all the way to Europe because the Europeans took gunpowder and obviously they used it in a different way. And then at the end we spoke about a different use of gunpowder at the end when they started to use it for space travel. Right? Still remember that? Yes. Okay. So what is it that I mean, who invented gunpowder? I'm asking you. The Chinese, excellent. And who took it to the Europeans? Who took it to Europe? The Arabs, excellent. And what did the Europeans do with it? Did they use it for fireworks? Yeah, very good. I mean, cannons and guns, like Fairuz is saying, right? No, no, the Europeans used it for in wars and in battles, right? They would fire at forts and castles in order to kind of dig holes into them, and that's why castles ceased or stopped to exist at one point, right? Still remember that? Okay, good. I spoke about the difference between the word mainly and the word exclusively, right? Remember? Mainly means that there are other uses, for example. But exclusively means that there is only, if we're talking about search, it's only one use of something. Okay? So when I say that Chinese mainly used gunpowder for fireworks, it means that there are other options that they also had. One of them would be to attack or fire at their enemies, right? But if I say that Chinese used gunpowders exclusively for fireworks, what do you understand? Yeah, only for that or this purpose. Excellent, yeah, Fairuz, everyone. Okay. So finding information quickly using numbers. So numbers can help you get to the information easily, right? And they can be in figures or words. What do I mean by figures? When I say 5, for example, this is in figure, right? When I say 78. So if I write it this way, so this is in figures and digits. Sometimes you call them figures or digits. Okay. Look, I mean, let's look at your mobile number. How many figures, how many digits do you have in your phone number? 10. So 10 figures or 10 digits. Very good. Nice. Okay, and we have examples of figures. When I say, see, 800. Words like when I write it this way, when I say 5 or when I say 3, and I write it this way, right? When I say 10, so and I write it this way. No, sorry. I write it this way, right? This is 10 in words, right? Okay. Okay, let's look at these words and see if we need help with any of them. You have the word attack, to attack, battle, enemy, eventually, mainly, mixture, trader, and wound. Any challenges with any of them? Mix. A mix between two things. You know, when you mix things together, yeah, Ahmed, this is called a mixture. Okay. Okay, give me an give me the antonym of enemy. What is the antonym of enemy? Friend. Excellent. Friend. Friend or ally, like Mansour is saying. Yes. Okay, so this is the opposites, right? Okay, so give me a synonym for enemy. A synonym means a word that has the same meaning. I'll be happy if you no, I don't need an explanation, ya Mansoor. I need a word. If I tell you give me a synonym, you give me another word. You don't give me a definition. No. So you have enemy and you also have foe. Foe. Have you heard this word before? Foe. So foe means an enemy. Okay, طيب. Give me a synonym. Yes, give me a synonym for the word wound. The word wound. Yes, if it's a verb, it's going to be injure, to injure somebody or to get injured. So if it's a noun, it's going to be injury. Injury. He had an injury. Okay. Give me the antonym of mainly. What is the antonym of mainly? No. I said it on different occasions. So mainly or exclusively. When something is exclusive, okay, so that would be the opposite. Okay, good. Remember, we also spoke about subjects, the subject and its predicate, and we said that sometimes because of the distance between the subject and the verb, people are normally under the false impression that the second word in a sentence is the verb, and we're saying that this is not correct. We have spoken enough about that. I'm not going to repeat what I said. And then we spoke about complex subjects. A complex subject is a subject that is not one word, right? It's not like, say, Samih is a teacher, where Samih is a teacher. Samih here is not a complex subject. Okay? But when I say the man we met yesterday is my manager. So the man we met yesterday, this is the whole of it is the subject, right? When I say the launch of von Braun's rockets during the Second World War, this is all the subject, and then was is the verb. You're familiar with that. I'm not going to talk more about it. Okay. So find connections between these words. You have a number, you can see them in the box. You have words like firework, rocket, weapon, launch, kill, wound, gunpowder, castle, and cannon. We're trying to figure out a logical relationship between them. What do they have in common? What is the common thread, if you like? What do you think? Okay, Fairuz is saying cannon and weapon have connections. Yes. If you talk about cannon and guns and weapons, you also talk about gunpowder, right? Yeah, and if you use gunpowder with cannons, you kill people or you wound them. They either get killed or they get wounded, right? Obviously, we're talking also about wars and battles. Are you getting the connections right? Okay, good. Okay, let's look at the vocab items here. Words like artificial, capsule, or capsule, considerably, explosion, in common, missile or missile, orbit, program, reduce, shuttle, suspension, and terrible. Okay, look at them and see if you need help with any of them. Mm. Okay, Mansour is asking about the word orbit. And orbit as a verb is to move in circles. When we spoke about the planets and we said that they orbit the sun. Okay, the word terrible means hard. When something is terrible, it means extremely bad, very bad, ya Amira. It's like horrible. Terrible and horrible are synonyms. Reduce. What is the antonym of reduce? What is the opposite of reduce? Increase. Okay, so you either reduce or increase something, right? Okay, you ask your manager to increase your salary, not to reduce it, right? The word missile or missile is exactly like rocket, like cruise missiles or cruise missiles. Shuttle is like it's a spacecraft, more or less. It looks like a bus, but it's a space bus, right? Suspend. What is to suspend? When we say, for example, going to the university and studying from the university is now suspended. Yeah, suspended, like Wafa is saying, means is stopped for a while. Okay, so to stop something for a bit or temporarily for a short time, this is called suspension. Okay. Okay. In common. When I say that Ali and his father has a lot in common, what do I mean? Yeah, excellent, ya Fairuz. Similar, they are similar. They have similar features. They look alike, perhaps. Right? Nice. Yes, yes. Artificial. Nobody asked me about artificial. So things are either, in life, things are either from nature and we call them natural, or man-made. If they are man-made, if they are made by man, by you and me, this is called artificial. Okay, so artificial means man-made. And the opposite would be natural. So when you talk about vegetables, for example, are they natural or artificial? Okay, good. When I talk about a computer, for example, is it natural or artificial? Okay. Yes, yeah, excellent. Like Ahmed is saying, it's from the word art, and art is normally associated with human beings. Okay, we always have this contrast between nature and art. Okay. Okay, so reading, A Brief History of Space Travel. This is based on the words that we have just spoken about. Okay, so what is it that we're going to do? We're going to read, right? But do we do something before we read? You also have a pre-reading stage, a stage before you actually read. What is it that you do? This is called previewing. It's all pre, as you can see. Pre means before and prior to. So previewing means that before you read a text, you do something. What is it that you do? You look at the title and you try to unpack the title and you try to understand it. You look at the bold-faced font. Sometimes you have words that are bigger than the rest of the passage, so you have to look at them, because there is a design, there is a wisdom as why the writer is making them that big or bold-faced. If you have pictures, you look at the pictures, you look at them very well, okay, and then you connect all these things together and come up with a scenario, and you try to give it your best guess. You say, yeah, because of the pictures and because of the title and because of the bold-faced stuff, I think it's going to be about this or that. Are you getting the idea? Okay, so this is actually what I want you to do. Let me just I need to minimize this a little bit so that you can have it all. I'm not good at minimizing, obviously. What is it that I'm doing? What's happening? I don't. Okay, good for you. And then no, this is not what I wanted. Obviously I wanted something smaller. Okay, until we finish, I would like you to look at the title and the pictures. Okay, I would like you to study them, and I'll give you a minute for that. When you have finished, you try to connect them together. You try to think of what is in common between and among them. Okay, you try to establish logical connections between them, and then you say, yeah, it's because of these pictures and it's because of this title I think the text will be about. Okay, can we do that? I'll give you 2 minutes from now, looking at the title, looking deeply and closely at the pictures, and coming up with expected scenarios. Okay? Done? Done? Could you establish any logical connections? Okay, so let's talk about your findings. let's talk about possible scenarios. Slim, okay. Your name is Slim, not Salim. Okay, Slim. Okay. Let's talk about it. You're only guessing, which means I'm not expecting perfect answer. Just give it your best guess. Okay. So let's talk about it. So what do you expect the text will be about? Um, space history. Fairuz is saying perhaps it is about when missiles or missiles were invented. Okay. Mansoor, men, women, shuttle, and there has to be a connection. You're just giving me words, individual. I mean, make a sentence out of them, ya Mansoor. Rosna is saying space travel. Ahmad Mansour is saying end of the war. Okay. Okay. Nice. Where are we? Where did I go? Okay, this is the one, right? So now what? We're going to go to the text and read it and see and verify our intuitions and check whether our guesses were correct or wrong. Can we do that? I think we can. Now go ahead. I would like you to read the text. I'll give you perhaps 3 minutes. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing, by the way. I think what's this? Oops. What did I do? It has to be smaller than that way. Smaller, right? What? I think close all and then start all over. Yeah, people are reading, right? You guys have the book. Remember what page it was? Okay. So people are reading, right? Okay, Fairuz is done. I'll give you one more minute before we start discussing it. No, we're not searching. We're reading, Zaki. We're reading the text. We're reading the text that you have on the screen. No, it's okay. It's okay, Zaki. No problem. Okay. Okay. I think we're all done, right? Tell me about it. So whatever you have understood, if any. Let's talk about it, everyone. Fairuz is saying it's about the first people who went to space. Okay, nice. Who else has something to say? I mean, just try your luck. It's okay. Make mistakes. No problem at all. Just tell us what you have in mind. You can't spend like 5 minutes of your life for nothing. Share what you have read, what you have understood, and we're going to talk about it. Yeah, it's the space program. Okay, Wafa. I mean, space history. No, it's not obviously about space history. It's about the history of going to space, right? Okay. Yeah, Ahmad is saying experiment. with space. Rosna is saying Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman to go in space. Okay, good. طيب. Okay. So obviously we also have, this is also history, and this is a pattern that gets repeated. Remember when we spoke about cultures and festivals, there was a pattern that got repeated. Remember when we spoke about certain festivals, cultural festivals, Siena in Italy, and then we went all the way to Bali in Indonesia, and then somewhere in India. There is a pattern for everything. So what is the pattern here that we see repeated? In the first text about the Chinese and the gunpowder, and here, what do they have in common? No, rockets is information, and information changes, if I Fairuz. I'm not talking about information. I'm talking about the structure. I'm talking about what to expect. Okay, we now know what to expect every time somebody writes about festivals, right? He'll give you the place where the festival is, right? He's going to give you a bit history about festival, right? And then he goes to what is it that people do during the festival. Here we're talking about historical events, and if we talk about history, there is a great deal of dates that we are given, right? They start off giving us the event, and then they start to specify and give us the names of people and what they did and what they didn't. Don't you see that repeated here, ya Jama'ah? We have seen it with the Chinese, in the text about the Chinese, which this text happens to be a continuation of. Yeah, I know, I'm not talking about information, ya Al-Mu'taz. I'm talking about the pattern. Every time there is history, you are going to see this repeated. You guys are giving me data. I don't want data yet. I'm talking about what is it that we should expect every time we have history, every time we have a text on or about history. Okay, so like Zaki is saying, you also have levels, you also have development. You start at one point with a certain date, and then you go to another point, you go to a third point. Do we see that happening here? Yes, absolutely. Okay, remember at the end of the first text we were under the impression that that Brown is the one who will take these things to outer space, right? It wasn't him. He only thought of the idea, and then somebody else took over. A Russian, right? Sigurov or Sigurov something, right? Sergei Korolev, excuse my Russian. Okay? Bye. Did you notice that I have highlighted things? Can you see these highlighted things? Okay. So what did I highlight? Words like however. So you have however. Words like at first, then, instead, for example, also. Okay. So what do we call these things? We call them, if you still remember, signpost words and phrases. Excellent, like Fairuz is saying. Do they help us in any way? let's just focus on the signposts. Words like however, right? First and the first, instead, at first, then, however, for example. Okay, what is it that they do? They direct and guide us. Okay, when I see however, I know that the sentence that comes after is in contrast with the sentence, or conflicts with the sentence that comes before, right? When I have the word or the phrase for example, I know that the writer is going to give me examples. Okay, when I have the word first, it means that the writer is going to give me a list of things. Okay, then it means we have a gradation of a sort, right? Something started and then something else came after. Okay, طيب. So why did I underline numbers? You obviously have numbers, you have dates. Dates are very important, you have to underline them. Okay, your memory is not powerful enough to contain all these dates and numbers, so that's why you have to highlight them. Okay, remember something else that we said. Remember that whenever you read a text, you read it a number of times. The first time would be what we call skimming, where you're looking for general ideas, and then you read the text for the second time, and when you read it for the second time, you look for details. Do you still remember that? So when you read it for the second time, you look for details, and you also have in your hand, if you're having a hard copy, you have a pen or a pencil handy. So what is it that you do with a pen or a pencil while reading a text or a book? Remember? Okay, so you either highlight or annotate, right? Remember we said that you either highlight, like I did. Highlighting is highlighting like I have done with in yellow, and highlighting can also be underlining if you underline, right? This is called highlighting. Or you annotate. Remember the skill of annotating? Annotating means that you take keywords to the margins on either side of the page, right? You take whatever you think is worth taking, whatever you think is valuable. Okay, you're trying to make sure that you don't miss the information or the piece of information, so you take it to the margin on either side of the page. Remember that? Okay. Okay. Can we do this quiz, knowledge quiz, very quickly? Let's do it very quickly. Match the questions and answers, and I'll give you 3 minutes for that. This is based on what we have done. Okay, if you were listening closely and carefully to what I have been saying, you have answers to all these questions, and I trust you all have or do have answers. I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Yalla, go ahead. Let me know when you have finished. Perhaps you can give me 5. Give me 5 if you have finished, or when you will have finished. It's very interesting, by the way. Very interesting. And it's full of very interesting vocab items. Are you done? Okay, so it's Wafa. Who else? Okay, so let's take them one at a time. Okay, so number 1, what can you raise? What can you raise? Horses, cars, people. Yeah, good. What can you inhabit? Inhabit means live in or on. You inhabit what? A house, a town, an area, or a country. Okay? Don't go before me. I have to finish, okay? If I'm explaining something, don't go to the next item until I do, or until I ask you to. What orbits the earth? Orbits, moves around. What orbits the earth? The moon. Excellent, ya Mu'taz. The moon, the moon, the moon. So when do you need a parachute? Yeah, oh, okay. To escape something, to perhaps escape to escape from a damaged plane, right? Okay. Who can you pray to? Who can you pray to? You pray to God, of course. Capital G. Excellent. Mansour is saying, can you not read it in order? I don't know. Yeah, Mansour. I think it's better this way, or else we're going to get confused. We're almost done, yeah, Mansour. Okay. So what does a primitive society not have? Okay, let's agree on the meaning of the word primitive. What is primitive? Primitive, give me the opposite of primitive. Let me ask you, yeah, old. Excellent, yeah, Al-Mu'taz. Are we primitive? We're not primitive, right? We're advanced. We have technology, right? So we're not primitive. Primitive are people who used to live in ancient times, and they had little access to technology and other stuff, right? So what does a primitive society not have? Like someone said, a lot of technology. They don't have a lot of technology. What does an astronomer study? What does an astronomer study? Space. Okay. Where are the tropics? Where are the tropics? North and south of the equator. Okay, there is this imaginary line that they have kind of created and drawn that obviously divides the earth into two pieces. It's called the equator, خط الاستواء. Okay. What do scientists do with a hypothesis? Perhaps I need to explain what hypothesis mean. Hypothesis mean a theory or an idea. So you give an idea, a scenario, as how something functions or works. But this is your idea or your hypothesis. So what is that you need to do? You need to prove it, like Nashwa is saying. So you need to provide evidence. What do you do with a firework? Set light to it. Yes. Why are some animals becoming extinct? Perhaps I need to explain what extinct means. Extinct means disappears forever. Like the dinosaurs. We say that the dinosaur is an extinct animal. Extinct here means it doesn't exist anymore. Right? So why are some animals becoming extinct? Why? Because of either the climate or human activity, like Wafa is saying. Okay. What can you use a rocket for? What can you use a rocket for? You can use it as a weapon. Yes, that's correct. Can we vary? I think we did that. Didn't we do that at one point? Yeah, I think we did it when we spoke about agricultural and industrial, right? Yeah, we did it. Yeah. Okay. So let's move to the writing part. Okay. So based on what we have done, again, you may come up with expectations about what kind of writing you're going to do. Writing in theme 1 was about what was festival writing, how to write about a festival. This time around, you're going to be engaged in two types of historical writing. It's going to be basically historical writing. You're talking about the history of something, and sometimes you're also required to write about the biography, to write a piece of the biography of somebody. Okay, so what is biography, and what's the difference, if any, between biography and autobiography? I'm asking you. Biography, sometimes we even use it, in business or at work. You say, give me your bio. He started the presentation with a bio. A bio here means he gives us his profile. He says, I was born in I don't know when, and then I went to school for the first time I don't know when, and then I graduated from college and I worked. This is called bio, right? So the biography of somebody is his personal history. It can be also can be personal, it can also professional. He's going to start off personal by talking about when he or she was born, and then make the transition to perhaps his professional and academic life, right? No, it has nothing to do with boy. So this is biography. So biography is your history when you yourself write it. Okay, you have autobiography. I'm sorry. What did I say about? I'm sorry. What did I say about biography? Biography is when you write about other people, their history. This is biography. Okay. When you write your own history, this is called autobiography. And auto here means self. Am I clear enough? So you write the biography of others. If you want to write your own biography, this is called autobiography. Okay. Right. So whether we're writing biography or autobiography, what do we have in a biography or autobiography? What kind of things are you going to talk about in a biography or an autobiography? I'm asking you. Yeah, information. What kind of information, ya Nashwa? Yeah, of course you're going to mention your name, but what else? It's basically about history. You're writing the history of someone, or perhaps yourself, right? So you're going to be engaged in a bit of history. In 1992, I did this and that. In 1960, I accepted a job as a janitor in an office. In 2005, I went on a scholarship to Japan to study cars. See? Yes, more or less. Okay, so let's start with something interesting. So you're going to have the means of transport like car, bicycle, plane, boat. You're going to talk about people involved. Whenever we talk about car, what comes to our mind in terms of people? The place, obviously the place where you can park it, where you can take it and stuff. And then the verb that we use with the transport, or this means of transport. And then the verb in the past, and then the verb in the past parts. Let's start with car. What do you have to say? So with car you have driver, okay, the one who drives the car, and you have passenger, the one who uses the car, right? I mean, obviously, who sits next or behind the driver. Place, when I say car, place, road, garage, right? Okay, the verb that we're going to use with car. You do what with car? You drive a car. Excellent, Afa. What is the past of drive? Drove, مش drave, not drave, yeah, Wafa. Drove. What is the past participle? What is the past participle? Driven, driven. driven. Okay, let's move to bicycle. So when I talk about bicycle, so if I talk about people, we say what? Rider. Excellent, Wafa. We can say rider, and we can also say cyclist. Okay, so you have rider and you have cyclist. And you can also have biker. I think I think I heard the word before. So you have rider, biker, and cyclist. And then the verb that we use with bicycle. Do you drive a bicycle? No, you ride a bicycle, like Wafa is saying. What's the past of ride? Road. Road. Okay. What is the past participle of ride? Ridden. Only one. It's double D and only one E. Wafa. Plane. Let's move to plane. Let's talk about people when it comes to plane. So on a plane you have, no, we don't have planer, wallah. No, Yazaki, no planers. Not anymore. No, it's out of stock, this word. Yeah, Zaki. Okay, so again, let's go to plane. So with plane, if we talk about people, so you have passengers, excellent. You have pilot, and you also have flight attendants. So you have a pilot, you have passengers, you have, no, we're going to keep captain to perhaps ships and boats. Okay. So with planes, again, we have pilot, we have flight attendants, and we have passengers. Okay, with plane, and in terms of place, where do you normally airport, like Nashwa is saying, airport. Sky is, yeah. What's the verb? What's the verb? Do you fly a plane? Yeah, I think you fly planes. Yeah, yes. You fly, I mean, obviously a pilot flies a plane. And you also use words like take off when the plane takes off, or land when the plane lands, or touch down. So you have take off, fly, land, and touch down. Is that clear? So what would be the verb? So fly, touch down, and take off. Okay. The past would be flew or landed, depends. And the past participle would be flown, right? Let's go to boat. If you talk about people on a boat, with boats we have, what do we have with boats? Yeah, we have sailors, like Wafa is saying, sailors. And when we talk about places, when it comes to boat, what do we say? No, I haven't heard the captain of a boat. I'm not sure. Yeah, when you talk with boats, you talk about seas and rivers. Yes. What would be the verb that you use with boat? Sail. Okay. What would be the past of sail? Sailed. And the past participle is going to be the same. Excellent. Good. Okay, so let's look at these words and see if you need any help with them. Control, crash, glider, land, navy, passenger, row, sail, submarine, take off, and vehicle. Do you need any help with any of these words? Okay, so submarine, where do you normally see a submarine? In the sky, on the ground, or underwater? Yeah, and I'm helping you. I'm just giving you clues. So submarine is under the sea, right? Underwater. Okay. So they do what with it? I mean, it's a military. I wouldn't say means of transport. They use it for military purposes, perhaps to spy on other countries. So it goes under the sea. Okay. So marine means water, and sub means under. So it's I wouldn't call it a vehicle. It's bigger than that, right? It's a means of transport or a form of transport that goes underwater. Yeah, like Al-Mu'taz is saying, they use it to attack other people, other countries. And you have the word row. You have the word row as a verb, and you have the word row as a noun, and they have different meanings. Row as a verb, if you have a boat, so normally you either use like sail with boating, or you use rows, right? You use rows on either. This is made of wood, right? Row, which is not what we mean here. Row means a fight or an argument. Okay, so there is a difference, and the one that we mean here is obviously the verb, and it's row. Okay, is that clear, everyone? This is, by the way, called a glider. This is a glider, as you can see. Okay, so I leave this to you, the first powered flight. This is reviewing vocab. Perhaps next time, if we have time, we can do it. Okay. Okay. This is the writing part that I was kind of aiming to or at. Perhaps as of this time, we're going to have perhaps towards the end of every theme, you're going to have like a sticky note in blue, and when you read it, looks like an assignment. So an assignment that you will have to read, think about, and perhaps react to. It's always like you see in blue. Okay. I'll show you and I'll demonstrate to you how to react to an assignment. This is like the TMA that we have. This is the head or the title of or the prompt of a TMA, for example. Okay, let's look at it. So, Department of Aeronautics. Aero means air, space, and nautics. Okay, department means, we have departments in our university. How many departments do we have? 3. Can you name them? Can you say them? What are they? I mean, name them. It's okay. I mean, whether they're 3 or 4, just name them. You have IT, like Mu'taz is saying. Obviously, he is IT, if he doesn't know about the other departments. You have IT, information technology, right? You have English literature, and you have business, and you also have education, right? Okay, okay. So we call them departments, and we also call them colleges. You know what a college is? So we call them departments, we call them colleges. Okay. So do we have this department in our university? Aeronautics? Do we have that? Space and... No, we don't have that, right? Okay. So it's aeronautics and astronautics. That's all about outer space. We don't have that, unfortunately. And the assignment is about, it says the history of flight. Okay, so the assignment says history of flight, the evolution of flight. You know, flight means what? Flight means that we're going to talk about planes and how they started, right? Okay. Any assignment is divided into 2 sections. Any assignment, any TMA is divided into 2 sections. Any homework. You have the first part, which is called the heading, which is called the title, which is called the prompt. What do we have in that? We have a scenario. We have a background. I cannot give you instructions unless you understand what I want to tell you, right? Okay, so the first part of any assignment is background. Sometimes it goes with prompt. Sometimes we give it the name head or heading or title. Okay? The second part would be the instructions that we give you. Okay? So like you cannot have instructions without a scenario. You cannot have a scenario or background without instructions. Right? Do you guys agree? Okay. So what are the instructions that we have here? Look at the sentences. You have make a timeline, right? Write a short biography. So make or write. What kind of sentences that start in this way? What do we call these sentences that start with a verb without the subject? Remember, perhaps I can give you 4 choices. Okay. We said statements or affirmative sentences, right? Negative sentences, questions, and imperative or command. So what we have here, when I say make a timeline, write a short biography, what kind of sentence? Is it a question? It's not a question, mind you. No. I didn't say did you, do you. This is called imperative, command, giving orders. So when you give orders, when you give orders and instructions, this is called imperative sentence. This is called command, amr. We call it amr in Arabic. Right? Okay, a command or an imperative does not have, like you see, it does not have a subject. Okay? Do I make sense? So instructions in English are given in an imperative or a command sentence. A sentence that does not have a subject. Make, write, go, come, describe. See? So make a time. So you're going to make something. What is it that you're going to make? You need to ask yourself these questions. He's asking me to make. Make what? He wants me to make what? No, you don't make events. You don't make events here. He didn't ask you to make an event. You don't make an event. You become part of an event. Nobody makes events. He asks you to make a timeline. Right? Make what? Make a timeline. So what's a timeline? Timeline, when you give the history of somebody or something and say, in 1950 he did this, in 1980 he did this, in 19 I don't know what he died, in 19 I don't know what he was born. This is called a timeline. Okay? It's like a calendar. You know what a calendar is? Where you have dates. Think of the course calendar that we have for EL111. Said in week 1 we finished this, in week 2 we finished this, in July we finished that, in September we finish, right? Are you getting the idea? Okay, Mansoor, no problem. Check the video. We'll put the video inshallah in 3 hours or so. Okay, so make a timeline. So okay, I'm going to make a timeline. A timeline of what? You need to also ask yourself this question. So he asks me to make what? A timeline. A timeline of what? Okay, a timeline of events. What events? Because obviously events are so many. Events in what or of what? Events in the lives of Wilbur and Orville Wright. I'm trying to show you how people approach TMAs and assignments. Okay? Does it make sense? This is obviously not the end of it. He wants you to do something else. Like, write. You say, okay, write. Write what? You need to ask yourself, write what? Right? Write a short biography. So write a biography. Biography? So what's a biography? Biography is exactly, it's also a timeline, but not a timeline of events. It's a timeline of people. Right? When he was born, and then when he went to school, when he finished school, when he went to university, when he got married, when he had kids, when he died. This is called biography. So write biography. Okay, biography has to be of somebody, right? So a biography of the two brothers. Who are the two brothers? Wilbur and Orville Wright, obviously. Okay, what about this biography? Is it going to be long or short? Did he specify? Did he say short or long? Yes, he said short, right? Good. Okay. Did he give us any other instructions? Yes. He said focus. Focus. Okay, it's a verb, right? Imperative too. Focus on what? He wants you to focus on what? Focus on their first powered flight. So with this word focus, he wants to limit you. He doesn't want you to write a very long biography, right? Do I make sense? I'm taking time in order that I'm trying to show you how to do stuff. Okay? You see, this is the timeline that we're talking about. This is a timeline. Can you see that? Okay, Abrahman, no problem. You see the dates? Okay. Okay, anyway, I'll stop on this note and with this item. Like I said, we're going to stop on this note and with this item. And when we meet again, inshallah, we're going to start theme 3. If you have any questions, I can give you up to 2 minutes before I call it a day. Okay. So obviously no questions. I leave it at that, and until we meet again, I wish you all the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Bye bye.